Notre Dame recruiting fans, thank you for joining me for yet another video here on the channel. My name is Brad Hughesby, and today I am bringing you this weekend's official visit preview video. Boy, it is a loaded list. I want to quickly get this out of the way, though. There are two recruits that will not be making the trip to South Bend this weekend that were originally supposed to. Those two are Nikkei Martinez, cornerback from Florida, and Sebastian Cheeks, linebacker from Chicago. Nikkei Martinez was a bigger target, kind of fell off a little bit. For whatever reason, other guys just jumped up the board. South Carolina, UCF are the two probably most likely schools there. And then Sebastian Cheeks, I think the linebacker spots are full. I think Snead and Tulimaka could very well be silent commits at this point. So there's only 4 linebacker spots available. Burnham is the third. Ziegler is the fourth. If Tulimaka and Snead are in fact committed right now behind the scenes, there's no more room for Sebastian Cheeks, and there he goes. In his recruitment, UNC and Texas are probably the two. I'm leaning Texas. But with that out of the way, let's start. I'm going to start with the 2023 guys. There are 2 very notable ones. There's another one who I'm not going to touch on, Jordan Hall, linebacker from IMG. He will be making the trip as well. But Carnell Tate and Mac Markway, maybe the 2 biggest 2023 targets on offense. Markway, tight end from St. Louis, Missouri, and Carnell Tate, wide receiver from Chicago, Illinois. Massive targets. Probably the biggest targets at their positions. Carnell Tate might be the biggest target in 2023 in general, other than probably Sonny Styles. But Tate just went on 2 recent visits to Ohio State. Some people think he's leaning towards committing to the Buckeyes soon. Notre Dame needs to have a good impression this weekend. He's coming to meet Steve Angeli, or to see Steve Angeli. They're good friends. See some of these other guys, talk with Coach Dell Alexander, wide receivers coach, Tommy Reese, Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly's really digging in on this recruitment, knows Tate well. So, yeah, this is a huge, huge weekend for Notre Dame to impress Carnell Tate. And then Mac Markway, I do think is leading Notre Dame right now. I could definitely see him ending up in the blue and gold as early. But a very good visit today, his first visit to campus. I could see Markway maybe popping in the coming weeks or months. Maybe that's a little too much. Maybe that's a stretch to say, but Markway really, really likes Notre Dame, and I do think they lead right now. Now let's go to 2022 guys. I'll start with the current committed guys. Steve Angeli will be on campus. Eli Raridon will be on campus. Holden Stays will be on campus, and those are the 3 currently committed guys that will be on campus. Nolan Ziegler will also be there, but unofficially. I'm not sure if he's staying 1 day, 2 day, what he's doing. He wants to use his official visit for the USC game this fall, which is totally understandable. I would probably do the same. And now let's go to the other guys. Cyrus Moss, massive target for Mike Elston and Marcus Freeman, defensive end from Bishop Gorman High School. I think it's an Oregon-Notre Dame battle at this point. Arizona State with their allegations going on. I don't think he wants to get involved with that. Florida, super far away. Clemson, same thing. I think Clemson might fill up at the end before he gets the shot to commit. He's going to drag this thing on for a while, maybe towards early signing day, maybe even national signing day, that all the way in February of 2022. We will see. But Moss is a while to go, but this is a huge visit for him. Notre Dame needs to take the momentum while they can. Elik Ainamar, wide receiver from Canada. He's currently playing in Massachusetts. Unranked. Burst onto the scene a few weeks ago. He's definitely got to watch. Landed an offer at Irish Invasion Camp on June 6th. Set up an official visit with the Irish. Not sure how big of a priority he is. We'll see. Notre Dame will have room for C.J. Williams and Tobias Merriweather along with Amorion Walker. But with Jay Brunel and Jordan Johnson transferring, they might need a 4th guy. I could definitely see Elik Ainamar being that 4th guy, and I can also see Nicholas Anderson, wide receiver from Katy High School in Texas, being that 4th guy. Nicholas Anderson is just off official visits from USC and Penn State. He might be taking another one to Oregon after this, maybe one to Auburn as well. But Nicholas Anderson is currently crystal balled to Notre Dame via Tom Loy of 247 Sports. Shout out Tom Loy. But Nicholas Anderson is talented. I wouldn't go as far to say I'd take him right now. I want to see what happens with Williams and Merriweather. If you land both of those guys, I don't think there's a need to take another 6'3 plus wide receiver. You have Moron Walker, who's 6'4", 6'3", 6'4". Williams, 6'3", 6'4". Merriweather, 6'4", 6'5". You don't need another big wide receiver. Take a guy like Xavier Bradshaw from the state of Virginia, who's a speedy slot receiver. Take a guy you haven't offered yet later in the cycle if you think you really need a speedy guy. A Lawrence Keys got something like that. Because honestly, you don't need 4 6'3 plus receivers in one class. Joe Brunner is one of 2 Wisconsin offensive linemen that will be in South Bend. Notre Dame wanted Billy Scrout to make it. He could not for this weekend. He went last weekend. Loved his visit. But Joe Brunner is a stud, ranked in the top 75 everywhere and anywhere. Offers from a lot of schools. It's pretty much Ohio State, Wisconsin, Notre Dame at the top, with Wisconsin and Notre Dame at the lone 2. Right now, I think he's leaning Wisconsin. Family's big Wisconsin fans, but you never know. If Notre Dame can shock him and can pull the momentum away from Madison, I could see him committing sooner rather than later. I think most of these guys will commit this summer, pretty much with the exception of maybe Cyrus Moss, but boy, huge visitor there in Joe Brunner. And then Carson Hinsman is another huge visitor. Alabama, Iowa, Ohio State, Wisconsin are other schools to know, but I do think Notre Dame leads right now. I think he loved his time in Madison, went down to Alabama for an unofficial visit, was at Ohio State for an official visit, landed an offer while he was there, but at the end of the day, I think Hinsman ends up in the blue and gold. I think Jeff Quinn's just going to have a great, great time with him, and I could definitely see Hinsman coming down to South Bend. Last 4, I'll go to Jaden Bellamy first. DB from New Jersey. I'm liking where Notre Dame is with Devin Moore. I'm liking where they are with Jake Pope. They're not going to have room for all these guys. Now, let's say Moore, Pope, and even Morrison are silenced behind the scenes. Do you even have room for Bellamy? Probably not. I don't think he's a take no matter what. But we shall see. Bellamy is definitely a talented guy. Penn State is probably leading right now, I will note. Emil Wagner is the next guy I will touch on. Emil Wagner is an offensive tackle from the Dayton area. Went to the same high school as Marcus Freeman and Mike Mickens in Huber Heights High School in the Dayton area. Kentucky official just wrapped up, was at Ohio State June 4th for Buckeye Bash 2.0. I think he's leaning towards Ohio State right now, but Notre Dame is right there. This weekend's going to be massive. He also really wanted to be on campus with Steve Angeli. So you know Angeli's working behind the scenes. I wouldn't call Angeli a Blake Fisher-esque recruiter, but Steve Angeli is doing a fabulous job, and he is probably the top recruiter in this class so far. Let's go and move on to Nick Singleton. Nicholas Singleton is one of the best running backs in the nation, ranked in the top 45 on 247 Sports. Wanted by Bama, Wisconsin, Penn State, Notre Dame. I think it's down to Penn State and Notre Dame, though. Loved his Penn State visit. Absolutely enjoyed Happy Valley, but this is where Lance Taylor needs to strike. Lance Taylor missed on Will Shipley in 2021, got Chris Tyree in 2020. Can he land his top target in Nick Singleton this year in 2022? I'd also like to note he did a great job with Dallin Hayden last weekend. Nick Singleton is not the only big-time back that he is talking to right now heavily. He's also talking to Gavin Sawchuk. He will be on campus next weekend. And, of course, Dallin Hayden was there last weekend. So if you strike out on Singleton, you got 2 more guys. But I think Hayden's going to love his time in Columbus and end up in Columbus playing for Ohio State. And Sawchuk, boy, it's going to be tough with USC and Ohio State also vying for his services. We will see, though. Let's hope Lance Taylor can land one of the 3. If he does, I would be thrilled. And then the final recruit, the recruit that most people care about, Xavier Nwankpa, the big 5-star. I'd be absolutely shocked if he's not a consensus 5-star pretty much everywhere. This dude could not be more Kyle Hamilton-esque. Nwankpa's wanted pretty much everywhere in the country, and I can see why. Rangy, can play the box, can cover. Just an absolute stud. my opinion, maybe the best defensive player in this class with a few exceptions. But Xavier Nwangwu is one hell of a talent. He will be on campus. I think Notre Dame is doing their best. Ohio State, though, is going to be tough. But I think Ohio State's losing a bit of their momentum. For a while, I thought he was a silent commit. It was floating around social media for months. March, April, early May, I really thought that. But then time progressed, and he's stayed uncommitted. His good friend in Deshaun McCullough decommitted from Ohio State and went to Indiana. So, boy, Nwangwu, if Notre Dame can pull this off, this would be probably the biggest recruiting win in Brian Kelly's history at Notre Dame. And this is a guy that can take you to the national championship. You need more than just one guy, but a guy like Nwangwu can really take you there and can take you to that next level. And boy, this would be an absolutely massive pickup for the Irish. All right, that's the video, guys. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And that is it from me. Peace.